Hey gaming fans, so today is really a fun deck. This is a deck that revolves around pulling out Exodia Necross. Now, obviously it's not a really competitive deck. You might be able to take this to like a small locals or something and have fun with it. Or playing against your friend. I mean, it's really just style points. It's a deck that I always tried to make work, to try and pull out Exodia Necross. If you're not familiar with who Exodia Necross is, he's kind of like, well, he is Exodia, but he's Exodia from the grave, essentially. He's like a zombie Exodia. Anyways, let's get to the deck and I'll explain what's going on as I show the card. So, the first cards you're going to need, obviously, are Exodia Necross. Now, the thing about Exodia Necross is he cannot be normal summoned or set. He cannot really be special summoned except by the use of the Contract of Exodia spell card, which I'll show. And you must have all 5 pieces of Exodia in the graveyard. So, right there, I mean, this guy's a challenge and a half to try and pull him out onto the field. The thing is, in the past, he was a pretty strong monster for what he is. Today's format, there's a lot of obviously better cards out there, and there is quite a few weaknesses. Essentially, he can't be destroyed by battle or by spell or trap cards. But he can still be targeted by things like compulsory, so he can be bounced back to your hand, which is good and bad. I mean, you could if you had another contract in your hand, you could summon him again. He also has a weakness of, if any of those pieces disappear from the graveyard, well, he kind of dies. So I know in the cartoon he was a little bit different. He wasn't the same, but this is how they decided to make him in the TCG. So the next set of cards you're going to need, obviously, are the full set of Exodia. And this deck, I kind of took apart my Exodia deck, the one I showed on this video on my channel before, just to make this one for fun. But these are all the 5 Exodia pieces that you need. Keep in mind that this build is not designed to win through Exodia. It's designed to win through Exodia Necross. So chances are, unless you hoard these things in your hand and can survive that many turns, you're probably not going to win through Exodia. There's no real cards I put in here to capture the pieces back from the graveyard. So the next card is Summoner Monk. Much like in my original Exodia build, I use this guy to special summon cards like Witch of the Black Forest. And what's cool about Witch of the Black Forest is not only can she pull out any of the pieces of Exodia, she can also fetch Exodia Necross from your deck to your hand. And that's why 2 is okay. I only have 2 Exodia Necrosses, but even if I had a third one, I probably wouldn't run it in this deck because Witch searches it out, Summoner Monk searches Witch out, which can search that out, and the pieces you get into the graveyard in a different manner, which I will be showing you soon. One of those methods is using Mathematician. When he's summoned, you can send a level 4 or lower monster from your deck to your graveyard, so chances are you're going to go for that Exodia head. Unless you drew it, of course, that's going to be your primary target for him, or any of the pieces if you need to. The thing that drives this deck is actually the ritual monsters. And so I had to come up with what ritual monsters I wanted to use. And so I ended up going with Demise, King of the Armageddon, only because it's a powerful card. There was combo decks based on him in the past. He pretty much can pay 2,000 life points to blow up everything on the field except himself. So, he's pretty good on his own. And I needed a level 4, so I just threw in this Paladin of Photon Dragon. It's not, it's okay. If it destroys opponent's monster by battle, you get to draw a card. And the reason for the ritual monsters is I'm using Advanced Ritual Art to bring them out. Now, Advanced Ritual Art, what it does is you send a ritual monster from your hand, or select a ritual monster in your hand, send normal monsters from your deck or to the graveyard with a total level that equal it. So from this one card alone with a Demise, King of the Armageddon, you could send all 4 pieces of the normal monster Exodia, the 2 arms, the 2 legs to the graveyard, plus any of these guys, one of those guys, and you've summoned your Demise, King of the Armageddon. In a case where you've drawn some of the pieces, say you have a couple of the arms and legs in your hand, I've thrown in some extra normal monsters like Thousand Eyes Idol, which is a level 1, and Galaxy Serpents, which are level 2. And the cool thing about the Galaxy Serpents are they are also tuners, which will come in handy later. So this deck is not just designed to only win through Exodia Necross, because he's powerful, but your opponent can get rid of him. So there's other backup plans in this deck, like the Demise, which can blow up everything. You got a 2400 body, or this guy, you get a 1900 body, or you can use your tuners to synchro into something. The Gemini Elves, level 4 spellcaster. So if you've been paying attention to the monster lineup, the majority of them are, well, except, you know, a couple of these guys, most of them are spellcasters, and there's another reason for that. Kind of like in my other deck, my Exodia deck, why I use spellcasters. So that's pretty much the monster lineup, except for the ritual arts, obviously. So let's get into the spells. I don't run any traps in this deck, although I was considering it. So obviously we got the 3 advanced ritual arts. The other thing I was thinking about was something to search this out, like the Menju of the 10,000 hands or whatever. But it didn't really flow in this deck. Plus I got a lot of draw power. So there's the Contract of Exodia. I'm going with 3 because I just want to make sure that I always do have it in case I do set myself up. I get my 5 pieces in the graveyard. It would suck if you had you know, Exodia Necross in your hand, all 5 parts in the graveyard, and you didn't have your contract to actually make the summon. There's nothing really to search this out. Nothing that I know of anyways. Then going on to things like Unexpected Day, I think that's how you say it, DAI. If you control no monsters, special summon a level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck. So just in case you need to start doing something, I mean, you can't just sit there with an empty field. So, you know, you could pull out things like your Gemini Elf if you need to, or, you know, if whatever you need to pull out, any of the normal monsters, even an Exodia piece if you want. And to deal with the normal monsters, I have Tri-White. So what this says, and like I said, the backup plan kind of thing, is that if your pieces and all that are in the graveyard and you can't summon your Exodia Necross, maybe your opponent has ways to deal with it, you now have your Tri-Whites, which is like a monster reborn for level 2 normal monsters, but it summons 3 of them from the graveyard. So you can even summon 3 pieces from the graveyard, or you could summon 2 pieces and your Galaxy Serpent, which is your tuner, and go into some synchro plays. And then for the draw power, I got 3 White Elephant's Gift, which is send a face-up non-effect monster you control to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Now, originally I was playing around with the idea of using non-effect ritual monsters in the deck, but I figure you probably wouldn't want to send them to the graveyard anyways. You're going to want to send stuff like this that's in your hand. So you could summon that, or even a piece of Exodia. You could summon one of the arms or legs and just send it to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. And much like that, I also do the Wonder Wand, which pretty much works the same way, but this is for spellcaster. So you could put it on top of your, what's it called, your Mathematician, for instance, after you use his effect. And you'll get a nice boost of 500, so he becomes 2,000, so now you can start attacking. Same thing with the Gemini Elf. You drop it on a Gemini Elf, now he gets bigger too. So it really depends. You can go on the offense. And then the last card I threw in there was a Pot of Avarice. Kind of like your reset button. If you're really trying to get that Exodia Necross out and you've failed, you can reset your deck essentially and try again. Also with the Advanced Ritual Art, sending so many normal monsters to the graveyard, you might need to shuffle some of them back into the deck. You get your 2 draws, and then you can go into your Advanced Ritual Art. Anyways, yeah, this is the deck. I'll probably try to do a video on this, you know, just some playthroughs to see how the deck runs. I did test it, and I was able to pull out Exodia Necross pretty fast. So it was a little bit of fun, interesting deck. Let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below if you've ever tried to summon Exodia Necross. I know there's a lot of better monsters out there. It's just kind of fun. This is more for style points. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.